Happy, beautiful Friday. And that comes from my friend Kirsten. First one on today, yet again. And look at that. Good old Mason. So let's go. And let's go, Matt from Shannon Clark. God, love it. Love it when people get on early. Hey, what a week. I am fired up. It's just been another outstanding week of doing Source One marketing agency work. Barry, what's up, big fella? And doing building win stuff and sharing and talking and just living the life. And it's an amazing thing. And that's one of the beautiful things about Friday is I get to go do this live and do it with people from around the industry and out of the industry and talk sales, talk leadership, just talk about stuff that's important to me. And something really important to me is sales. That's what I do. It's what I've done for 4+ decades. And I was talking off air with our guest today, Matt Davis, about, and something we're going to talk about a lot is elevating the world of sales to a little bit better than just above a politician, right? And you're going to know one thing about Matt. You're going to know in about 13 seconds after he's on that this dude is the real deal. So let's just quit talking here, do a little quick bumper to tell you who I am, and we'll be back with my friend Matt Davis. Don't go away. Boom, here we are, brother.
We're here.
Can you believe this or what? Technology.
Absolutely. Crazy. You're
It
there,
is.
I'm here, but yet we're together.
We are. And if it wasn't, and the scary thing is that with Wes, my buddy, my pal, my brother, my producer, director, and also bodyguard when we may be out having a Dr. Pepper and a pizza.
Absolutely.
We had to pay our dues, and he reminded me, I think it was funny, just before we went live. You remember I said, no, I don't want to go yet. I'm not ready. And he goes, we're going because Wes has the buttons. Always remember who has the buttons, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, when it comes to the Crush It podcast, Mason always has the buttons. So I'm his. I wouldn't say he's my bodyguard though. For anybody who's seen him, I don't think he qualifies as bodyguard status, but he definitely has control of the buttons. So
I understand. Yeah. Yes. I know Mason. And when I first met him in person, we've known each other for some years now. We communicate often, but I think I first met him in person, I believe, in Nashville, the National Frame Builders Association. And we first did a bro hug. I thought, okay, this dude ain't gonna be my bodyguard. I need to meet Wes.
No, you met him and then he turned sideways and you didn't know where he went.
Yeah, exactly. I said, where'd he go? Yeah, he remembers that. Yes, I remember. He was yelling across a watering hole, and I go, who's that goofball? And then I go, oh, that's Mason.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's good stuff. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on. I've been looking forward to this. You're a gentleman and a sales pro, and you do it the right way. But before we even get into that, I love to start who in the world is Matt Davis? Who are you?
Well, we're still trying to figure that out.
We don't have enough time on the show for that. So,
but what I know now about him, I'll give you a quick rundown. So, actually was born and raised in Western North Carolina, and that's how I grew up with Mason. Got early on I started roofing. So I come, back in the day from the roofing industry, had my dad, my brother-in-law, my uncle, everybody roofed. And so it was the family business. It's what I got into. Actually had the opportunity. At 15, my parents gave me the opportunity to actually homeschool so I could work full time. So I actually went to work full time at 15 on the roof every day because I enjoyed making money, and had the opportunity at 19 to start my own business and start my own roofing business. Always small scale, just one little crew there, but enjoyed that. Met my beautiful wife from over here in East Tennessee. And which is what led me here to the beautiful city of Knoxville, which I hope to never leave again. We have 3 beautiful kids. After moving here back in 2014, I got in a car wreck that messed one of my legs up pretty bad. Day to day, I'm good. But basically, the doctor said, if you try to keep roofing every single day, you're going to be back every 2 to 3 years for surgery. And after about a half a second of considering that option, I decided to get out of the day-to-day roofing game. and jumped in head first into sales because that was the aspect of running my roofing business that I enjoyed the most. And have had the opportunity to sell in several different opportunities, whether it's life insurance. I did life insurance for a while, still dabble in that, and then had the opportunity to travel around selling. I've always stuck around the building materials. We sold insulation. And then about 3 years ago, had the opportunity to jump on board with the company I'm currently with, which is Homecraft Gutter Protection. Started as a rep for them out of the Chattanooga office. Okay. They did not have an office here in Knoxville, Tennessee, but they were covering the area. So started as a rep for them, had the opportunity in August of 2020 to open the Knoxville office for him here, then moved up to becoming the operations manager at our corporate office down in Loganville, Georgia. So spent some time down there. I've also served as the director of training and development, and now am serving at Homecraft Gutter Protection as a regional sales director for the Eastern region. So, not just sales in of itself, but teaching sales is definitely my passion. So that is what I know about me up to this point. And also in the middle of that, me and Mason did something little on the side that we're going to see what happens with it.
And we're gonna talk about that in a few. But I got to go back to something. Go back to something. I'm gonna take liberties with our relatively new buddyhood. Is that a word we're gonna use in my show?
Works for me. It is. You said it, so it is now.
Okay, thank you. So now, yes, that is a quote. How do we make that? Because that's going to be a Randyism now. We're going to use that forever.
I like it.
A buddyism. Roofing.
Mm-hmm.
Roofing. That's obviously a North Carolina attitude because you did some roofed. You roofed. You was a roofing. You was in the roofing business. I'm just messing with you because up here in the North we don't really call it roofing.
What do y'all call it?
Roofing. Not roofing. You call it roofing, didn't you? Or did you call it roofing?
Roofing. Now you've got me confused. I don't even know what I said, Randy. I don't know.
But don't worry about it. Believe me. My wife reminds me often that most of what I say doesn't make any sense. As a matter of fact, Wes and I, a little shameless self-promoting here, but Wes and I are both working on books individually, and one we're going to write together.
Fantastic.
And for the release this year. And I thought about having my wife do the first read through. But then I decided that we'd never get it done because everything I say would be fixed because she's right, I'm wrong. Except right. I'm not writing the Dixie Chick. I'm not writing a Charles Dickens literary masterpiece, right?
Right.
And we'll talk about hybrid selling and how I do it and how I learned what I learned and so. The thing that I learned years ago from Gittimer stuff was you just you write the way you talk, right? And
absolutely. And I found that, I do a whole lot of talking. And if you say anything with a smile and confidence, you can get by with it. You just keep rolling.
Keep rolling. Exactly. So, let's talk about. So you've been in the world of sales and leadership, and that's a pretty quick run with the gutter protection people, from rep to big dog. That's a title we're going to give you.
I'll take it.
Matt Davis, big dog. I like that.
That works.
Yeah, I know we just talked about before that Mason's you're a real technical geek, so he's probably doing a hashtag right now for that. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
No charge on this one.
No, that would give me too much credit. That's a hashtag he's probably going to let go.
Okay. So talk to me about the Crush It team, the Crush It podcast, because I know it has to do with leadership and sales and doing things the right way. And we talked about off air also about, like I think I said, we're sales guys as a profession. And I say guys, that's a Michigan grown up thing where girls and guys are all guys. That's just
right.
Right. If I walk into a room full of girls, I say, hey guys, that's what we do. But big dog, hashtag big dog, Alicia Cahill. There we got it. It's up. It's official now.
It's done. No stopping us now.
There's no stopping us now. So tell me about the Crush It. Where did that come from? Because I love the idea. I love the word. I love the concept. Tell me about how that got started, why it started, and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so like we've mentioned, me and Mason did, for the most part, grow up together there in Western North Carolina. We weren't really close friends for most honestly till right before we got started with Crush It. He has an older brother that I was more friends with at that time. And we were working together at that time. I was still helping with doing some roofing and things, and he was providing that metal, the metal supplies for me. And so we started talking that way, kind of rekindling a friendship from where we were familiar with each other growing up. And honestly, it was kind of crazy because it just kind of clicked. We were actually we were over in North Carolina. We were both over there for work, so we decided to meet up and have some supper. And we were sitting there talking. We were discussing some things, and one thing led to another. And I don't want to take full credit here, but I think I was the first one to mention, like, hey, how cool would it be if we did a podcast? Nobody will probably listen to us, but I've always wanted to do that. I enjoy talking about sales and leadership. And he was dumb enough to think it was a good idea. And so we kind of threw it off of each other. It's one of those things where it was an awesome idea, but are we actually going to do this? And by the time that dinner was over, basically we said, hey, let's sleep on it. Let's meet at Cracker Barrel in the morning, because we both grew up Baptist. So everything is done at Cracker Barrel. I don't know if you know that. But
whoa. That's an official Baptist thing?
It is. It is. If you grow up Baptist, you do everything at Cracker Barrel. And so we met the next morning and ate breakfast and said, well, if we're going to do this, we got to name it. And so we spent, I don't know how much time, even after we ate, standing in the Cracker Barrel parking lot, discussing all the options. We landed on Crush It, and it just seemed to completely encompass everything we wanted to accomplish. And so we sat down and said, what do we want to accomplish? And it was basically, a lot of the people that we grew up with, that we grew up around, there's a mindset where, success is not really looked upon in a positive light. Doing things, if you've had, just to be quite frankly, I don't want to dig too deep into it here, but if you've had any type of secular success, then that must mean that you turned your back on God at some point. And we wanted to change that mindset. And so basically the whole thing that encompassed what we wanted to do is figure out what success is for you, because there's so many narratives that are pushed by so many different groups of what success should be. And we said, success looks different for everybody. Success can be a very simple life, or it can be a very complex life, depending on what works best for you. So our vision was to give people the ability to figure out what success means to them in their personal life, and then give themselves permission to succeed. If you want a simpler life, don't let society push you to have a more complex life, or, if you do want more out of life, which I fall in that category, don't let anybody slow you down. And so basically just talking about those day-to-day struggles, the mindset, we're very big. I don't think an episode goes by of the Crush It podcast that we don't talk about mindset at some point. And just pointing people in the right direction and saying, hey, it's okay. You don't have to fit into this box, whether it's something that a box your family puts you in, your religion puts you in, or society puts you in. You don't have to fit in that box. Figure out what success is for you, and don't settle for anything less.
I love it. And you hit on something I was going to ask. And so you already hit on, which is awesome, which is when people hear the word crush it sometimes, just like I've had occasion where people with the name of our show, Building Wins Live, but Building Wins, right, is, well, you're just about winning. Oh, this winning. They crush it, winning. They look at that as a negative thing. And I love the fact that you talk about the same thing that Wes and I talk about a lot, is crushing it or building wins. Is if you do it the right way. And it can be all types of wins, right? It can be all types of crush it, right? It can be spiritual, it can be health and fitness, it can be family, it can be relationship, and it can be sales and business wins, right?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up, because go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
No, I was just going. I love that you brought that up because me and Mason both, we're very passionate about our faith. We're very passionate about our family, and we're passionate about finances. And there I go. Mason's going to laugh. I'm alliterating everything like a good Baptist preacher would, the way we grew up, but it's not just about crushing it financially or those big time success, but I want to crush it as a husband. I want to be the best husband I can be. I want to crush it as a dad. I want to be the best version of a father that my kids deserve. And so you're 100% right. This isn't just about money and whether it's fame or growing in a company or whatever it is. That's not all this is about. This is about having the character, being the man, being the woman that you are meant to be, and crushing it in all areas of life, even if society deems those as smaller things. In my opinion, crushing it as an individual from a character standpoint, husband, father, those are by no means small things. But we do mean everything. We want you to have that success in every aspect of life.
Right. Well, you hit on something. I made a note, and I paraphrased my own note, but you basically said, in a sense, success is not a dirty word, right? It's
absolutely not.
It's not bad, and there's a lot of people, and I think you guys, and that's what always attracted me to the Crush It podcast. I watch everything you guys do numerous times.
We appreciate that,
and I love the idea that that we've got to get back to this idea that winning, crushing it, is not a negative. That's and as long as you do it the right way, as long as you do it with integrity and with ethics and that type of thing. And so I love that the fact that you guys talk about that. And a really important thing here, Mason thinks you should record an episode at the Cracker Barrel.
I'm in. I'm in.
I think that'd be amazing.
In anything we do at Cracker Barrel, I'm in. I mean, I'll. As a matter of fact, though, he says that we've never done one in Cracker Barrel, but there have been. We went there for a while. We did a Monday morning segment. It was just a short episodes called Goal Calls. We did those for a while on Monday mornings, and I'm pretty sure a couple of those were recorded in the Cracker Barrel parking lot, where we met up halfway before we both lived in Knoxville. We had to meet up, and so I feel like maybe we should be getting a sponsorship from Cracker Barrel at this point.
You might think a little Cracker Barrel sign above every Crusher show, I think, is in the works.
I think it needs to happen.
I think so. So while we're on it, because as I told you early, I go where I go. What's your favorite food at Cracker Barrel? I just think this is important because I want to know.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Randy. This is a little bit of a touchy subject. It is because I'm, obviously I'm the fat boy of the group, and so I'm very passionate about my food. And believe it or not, my favorite thing for the longest time from Cracker Barrel was their country chef salad. And big salad, salad sounds great. It made me feel better about myself, but there was so much meat and cheese and all kinds of stuff on there that it caught my attention. But
Mason's exposing you.
He is, and I'm getting to that. He's just trying to prove that he knows me better. But so they took away, but Cracker Barrel, they've got me upset because they took away their Thousand Island dressing. And I feel like this is an abomination. We should probably, put together some sort of revolt against them for taking away their Thousand Island dressing, because now I can't get that salad. So now Mason is correct. I think it's called the Country Boy. Get me the steak and the eggs over medium. So nice. My man's coming in clutch for me there.
He's coming in. Well, I'll tell you, my favorite is their meatloaf. West popped up meatloaf sandwich. I like their meatloaf dinner because I am like a connoisseur, if there's such a thing, of meatloaf. If there's meatloaf anywhere, I'll order meatloaf.
I'm the exact opposite. I can't, I don't know, something about meatloaf. I'm a big, any type of meat. I'll try any type of meat twice. But something about a meatloaf, for me, it's more I'll eat a little meatloaf with my ketchup if I have to. But that's one thing that I've just not been able to get on board with. So anytime we're together, if we get served meatloaf, you can have a double portion because I'm gonna
Let's
let
do
you
it.
have mine.
Let's do it. Well, Shannon already wants to come down and or is it Alicia wants to sit down? Alicia and Shannon, they both want to come, I think. Shannon says no shame in being a food addict. Alicia wants to come and actually be live at your show at Cracker Barrel. I think that should be.
I think maybe we're forming an entire convention here that's going to be held at Cracker Barrel. I'm in.
We'll just get the room rented out.
That's right.
Sorry, closed for a private event today.
That's right.
I like it. So you've been in sales a long, long time. What have you seen different in the last, say, 3 years with the whole? Because I'm gonna asterisk this with I say this every week and then I still go back, but one of these days I'm going to be done with the whole C word, the COVID word, and all that. I've fully
COVID. What's that?
Yeah, exactly. That needs to be an asterisk, and we move on. We learned, but the key is we did. At least I know I did. I'm curious of what you think. Learned so much coming out of that. And what have you guys learned? What have you changed the way you do things? What's that done for you guys?
Well, to be honest with you, in our company, and I got started in January of 2020, so it was literally right before it hit. And we are an in-home sales one call close system, and so for us, the immediate effect was people wasn't letting you in their homes. So we had to kind of adjust and start doing some things outdoors and all that. But other than that, we've kind of stuck to our same system when it comes to getting in there, giving the customer the information, showing them what we do, what sets us apart, and offering them solutions while we're there. That being said, I think one of the things that has changed the most, and I think it has been to an advantage for people who are doing it the right way, but a disadvantage for a lot of people who are doing sales the wrong way. Because I told you, I love to talk about sales and doing them the right way.
Right.
And that is that we are living in such an age that there is so much information available to the consumer, to these homeowners. They are able to jump on Google and get all kinds of information. To be honest with you, more information than they need. To where they start confusing themselves to the point that, sales as a whole, sales gimmicks, sales tactics that a lot of people have used, good or bad, anymore, they're not really working because people are jumping on and leaving reviews. Hey, this is what they did. Watch out for this. And that's so prevalent that it's hurt a lot of people who rely solely on tactics and those type things to sell. Where that has been a good thing for us and what we are trying to teach and what we're trying to produce with our company and what I believe in is it's allowed us to really fall back on and double down on the relationship and the sincerity of finding solutions for people. And really letting them know, hey, I'm not here to just pawn something off on you and get your money. I'm here to find solutions, find out your problems, offer those solutions, and see what we can do to make that happen. And so what it's done is it's created a space where, honestly, from my viewpoint, I feel like that it's been a help for your honest salesperson. Because, the old, and sorry to jump the gun here, but the old statement where people say, I think it's from a movie. They say, sell me this pen. You're a salesman. Sell me this pen. Sell me this pen. Honestly, I hate that, me personally, because if you hand me a pen, and I actually had, when I was interviewing for a job, I had a guy do that. The sales manager handed me a pen, said, sell me this pen. And I told him, I said, I can't sell you this pen. I don't know anything about this pen. I don't know if this pen works. I don't know where this pen's been. I don't know what the pros and cons of this pen are. So I can't sell you this pen. If I can convince you to buy this pen, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a con artist. That means I can just take anything and convince you to give me your money. That's not sales. That's not being a salesperson. A genuine salesperson finds a product that they believe in, that they stand behind. They learn that product, and then they find out the problems that the customers are having and figure out how their solution works for that problem. And so as a salesperson, we have our sales meetings on Friday mornings. And this morning I was talking, some things were coming up. And I said, sales is just about us, to keep it simple, sales is just a series of asking questions. Right. That's all you're doing. Asking questions. A salesman asks questions. A closer asks the right questions. And so it's about learning how to ask those questions and offer the solutions to their problems. And so I feel like the change that we've seen over the last few years, if anything, has helped those of us who are out there passionately helping people trying to do it the right way.
Beautiful. Exactly. And as Mason says, solution-based selling, and that's so key.
Absolutely.
And you just hit on that. I'm glad you brought that up. And I love that. Sell me this ink pen scenario, because we've all seen that, right?
Right.
And I think your answer to that was just spot on. And another thing you touched on, Matt, I think is brutally important. And I say this often is if you ask enough questions, you enter a conversation, you build a relationship, the customer friend, which is what my goal, and I try to refer to people as not just customers, but customer friends. That's the goal, right?
Right.
Customer friends will tell you how to sell them. Right? You don't have to figure all this out in your head, and I'm going to have this script. I mean, script is good to have, absolutely, especially for young guys to know the process, right? But as you get experience, just like you said, have a conversation like we're having right now. What are your issues? What are your pain points? What's going wrong? What's great about who you're buying from now? What's not so great? Sooner or later, they're going to tell you exactly, man, if you could just do this, right?
Absolutely.
And so happens that is our strong point, right? It's now again, it's a strong close. It's not even a close, right? Because
correct.
You just you've answered the questions throughout the series, and right. I think that's awesome stuff. Aaron, I got a shout out to my buddy Aaron Carpenter. He's in a similar position as you in the western part of the United States with a great manufacturer. I'm with Marco Industries. He's a regional sales director, and he says, "Thanks, fellas, craving some meatloaf now." # building pounds.
I love it.
Oh man, yeah. Aaron and I built a few pounds last week together for 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know the best places to eat, ask your salespeople.
Absolutely.
I promise you, we know where
yes.
the good stuff is.
There's only two people. There's two people that know the best: salespeople and truck drivers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and we do know the spot. So I do it right always. I made a note, paraphrasing again what you said, and I think that's the real key. And you touched on that is that getting away from the using something this really ages me, but the old blue suede shoe salesman type idea, right? Right. I could talk about selling the ink pen. It's like, look for the sale at any cost. It doesn't matter because it's only I need my commission, right? If you go about that way, you might make a buck today. You might make a buck this year. You might even make a buck for several years. Mm-hmm. But sooner or later, that's not going to be a long-term career enhancer, right?
Right. Absolutely. And I think one thing that too is an advantage for us is that we're able to, if I tell my reps when they leave a home, if somebody says, "Man, you're a great salesman," no, I appreciate your you saying that, but I'm not a great salesman. You're buying a great product. You're not buying me, because if somebody feels like you're a great salesman, they may get 2 hours after you leave and feel like, well, I was just sold. And then, then they start backtracking. And so having that, like you said, that sincerity and being genuine in that creates the fact that the customer, when you've sold them the right way and you've not used gimmicks and tactics, when you leave, they know that you didn't sell them, you helped them make the best decision for their problems.
Huge difference too, right? And in your world of in-home sales, I've got to believe that the rescission rate, the 3-day right to rescission, which is popular, I think, I don't know if that's statewide or nationally, but in home selling. So for people that don't know, if sold in home, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but people have 3 days to rescind the order. right?
That is correct. That's
Basically,
correct.
you protect them from an overzealous salesperson, right?
Right.
So the rescission rate has to be higher with guys that don't practice what you just talked about. Because if you feel, I think sometimes you feel as a homeowner, I'm just going to sign this thing because I have just been beat about the head so much. I just want you to leave.
Absolutely.
Because they know, if they know anything, that I'll cancel this later, but right now I need you to leave. And I'm sure that the rescission rate is probably pretty low with the seasoned pros that build that sale from start to finish, to where there is nothing that this homeowner thinks about other than, wow, am I glad I made this decision today.
Yeah, those, if I see a high cancellation rate, I'm having that conversation. And the top people who are selling with solution based, building that relationship, they're not leaving with a concern that they're going to cancel. Typically, that rep is leaving with a list of referrals because of the relationship that was built. So, you've got those reps who are using tactics and overzealous and pushy and sign here, sign here. You're not getting a referral off of them. You're getting a cancellation letter in the next couple of days. Whereas on the other side, you're building relationships, not just with them, but with their friends and their family, because you're going to have the opportunity to serve more people doing it that way.
Well, exactly. And that's a good point that you bring up, is we all have to live off of referrals in some way, right?
Right.
And if even if that customer we just talked about that just wanted you out the door, maybe at the end of the day they recognize it was a good deal and they don't cancel, but they're sure not going to recommend you to their friends and neighbors, right? And
correct.
And that's especially in all aspects. I was going to say, especially in the home sales world that you're involved with, but even with that, in the manufacturers end of things like myself, I want customers to call up other customers and say, "Hey, I told Randy to give you a call. He'll take good care of you. If you don't build that up, you're kind of looking back to from a manufacturer's end a 1-day sale all the time, right? Because I'm always looking for somebody new, and that's not where we really want to be, right? On a long-term basis. So
correct.
Beth loves rocking on the porch at the barrel. Man, we do need, there's got to be some money coming here.
It's happening, right? I mean, it's got to happen.
Yeah, Wes, make that. Wes and Mason, you need to make those calls, buddy.
Absolutely.
Cracker Barrel. We need some bucks, man.
Me and Randy will show up and talk. Y'all set it up.
That's it. Exactly. At least free meatloaf and a salad, for Pete's sake. I mean,
there we go. I'll bring my own Thousand Island.
Exactly. See, that's fair. So, we blasted through 33 minutes already, and we like to keep it about. I know we could talk forever, but as we sort of wind down, and I'm in no big super yank, but give us some closing statements. The word, according to Matt Davis, as we go forward, and not only be better people, but better salespeople in the industry, because we already established early on we that's what we want to do. A lot of us do that, or we think we do, or we hope we do. What do we need to do to clean that up?
Wow.
I know, I was
prepared
tough
for
right?
This one. This is, do you want me to bring out my book and just read through it? No.
Would you? Yeah, if you want. Yes.
So, basically just from experience, I would say, if I could leave any parting words, is never stop working on yourself. I think that one of the biggest mistakes and I found myself making the same mistake many times, and I have to hold myself accountable. One of the biggest mistakes I think we make as salespeople is we get so busy doing the work that we forget to work on us. And taking the time to, whether it's reading books, honestly, that's one difference between me and Mason. Mason can sit down, my wife's this way, can sit down, open a book, and be happy as can be reading a book. I'm more of an audiobook guy because I need it shoved in. But whether it's sitting down reading a book, whether it's an audiobook, podcasts, things like this, never stop developing who you are. I think that with good intentions, a lot of times we, as not just salespeople, but hustlers, people who love the grind, who are in it day in and day out. We try to pour out so much. We try to help people so much with good intentions that we end up trying to pour from an empty pitcher. We forget to renew ourselves and invest in ourselves so that we can invest in others. So, I would say that it's important to make sure you're taking the time no matter what. Whether it's first thing every morning before you go to bed at night, or both, or at least, a couple times a week. Stop, develop yourself, make sure you're getting what you need so that you can continue to sell, to lead, to produce, and keep pouring into other people. Because ultimately, I think, I enjoy what we do, but for all of us, from what little bit, Randy, that I've gotten to know in the short time about you and Wes, and I know me and Mason and so many others, what we do is so worth it when we get that one message that says, hey, what you said in this episode helped. What you posted this day was such a help for me. I needed that. It helped me to, with my mindset or whatever. And so doing that and having the ability to pour into others is such a blessing. But at the same time, we have to pour into us so that we can continue to pour into other people.
Exactly. Great words. Excellent way to finish. We couldn't have scripted that better.
I just pulled that out. So hopefully, I meant every word of it. So
I know it's great when you just pull it off. And I've said stuff before at little talks and stuff, especially that I've given at little events or whatever. Right. And this is my personality, but I've stopped and I said, hold on, I got to write that down. That was good. I need to use that again.
Did you hear me? That was fantastic.
Did you hear how brilliant I was? That was amazing.
I love it. Oh,
good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I love the last one from the Crush It team itself. Give yourself permission to be successful, to succeed. I mean, that too is absolutely brilliant stuff. Alicia wants another half hour with Matt. Wow. You just.
I think maybe she thinks the other half hour would be at Cracker Barrel. That's probably it.
That's what it is. She wants Cracker Barrel. I understand. Unbelievable. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. That's kind words, Alicia. I'm sure Matt appreciates it.
Thank you so much.
Well, listen, I am going to let you get out of here because I know it's Friday and you probably got some family things to do. I've got family up at the lake house this week. So
fantastic.
I did a bunch of work this morning and a bunch of work this afternoon, and now we did this, and my favorite part of the day, but don't tell anybody. Shh. Anyway, we're going to get out of some more family stuff, so as I'm sure you are.
Absolutely. My oldest is she turns 12 tomorrow, so we've got some celebrating to do.
I guess you do. Well,
thank you so much. Such an honor and a privilege to get to be on. It's been such a pleasure to follow you on LinkedIn and the other social medias. You're a huge encouragement every day. The Crush It team loves and appreciates you, so it's an honor and a privilege to get to be on Building Wins today. So thank you.
Well, very, very kind words, and likewise. It's the Mutual Admiration Society, but it's well met. You guys are the real deal, and I'm blessed to follow a lot of really, really great people, and you guys are at the top of that list. So well done, my friend.
Thank you so much.
All right, Matt. Appreciate it. There you go, my friends. Matt Davis. If you didn't love that, then you need to check your pulse. Get one of those little pulse meters, stick it on your finger, because if you didn't love that, then there's no hope, I guess is what I'm saying. That was brilliant stuff. Oh, thank you, Shannon. Appreciate you. That was a great half hour. Love it. So what are we going to do next week? We're going to build wins all week, as we always do. And we got another great friend of Wes and I, the guy, I'm holding his book in my hand right now. There we go. Yeah, lights are shining. Conversation with Bob by Steve Rizzo. Steve is an absolutely, seriously funny man. He's a funny guy. He's a Showtime comedian. He's been on stage with the likes of Jerry Seinfeld, Rodney Dangerfield, and Eddie Murphy, a bunch of people like that. Comedian for a long, long time. And then he decided to go more into motivational speaking and inspirational speaking and writing books. He's wrote several books. The book that he has that we're going to talk about next week, the light here, Conversation with Bob, is his latest book. And I could just tell you, I've read it once and partway through the second one. And I'm going to read one quick thing from the book, real short. The negative zone is like a do not enter zone for your hopes and dreams. Steve Rizzo. Next week, we're going to have a great chat with a very funny man and a great motivator and a great inspirator. That's, again, another one of my words. I'm not sure that's real, but again, my show. But till next week, we'll be there. But remember, live it, love it, and own it, because you only go around once, and you got to remember, love what you do and do what you love. Wes talks about that a lot on a lot of his podcasts, and it's super important. And what else do we have to say? What do I say every week? Oh, I know what it is. Make today. You know this is important. Make today your best day ever. until tomorrow. Cheers, my friends. Thanks again.